And welcome in. It's time for the Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. A lot of football action around the area last night. And we'll talk to all the coaches. Let's run down the scores first. Triton got a win last night, 63-0 over South Central. It was Fairfield over CMA, 28-27. Plymouth got a 44-7 win over Goshen. Glenn defeated Jimtown 14-10. It was Bremen over LaVille, a game you heard right here. Max 98.3 game of the week, 7-6 the final there. And Winnemac defeated Culver 30-22. We'll start our trip through the county in just a moment with Andy Dorrel from CMA. And we will have Jayden Overmyer, our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week interview coming up. So stay tuned for that, and we'll name this week's Player of the Week. So don't go anywhere. It's the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Yeah, sound like Ed Sullivan doing a big shoe coming up. Show coming up in just a second.
Coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Bigby Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana, serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
And we're back, joined by Andy Dorrel, the head coach at Culver Academy. Another loss last night, but I got to feel like you feel better about this one this week because it looks like some good things happen.
No, that's a tough question, Rusty. When you drop the 2-point conversion to win it with a minute left, it's tough to stomach. But the fact that our kids had a shot to win the game at the end is most important, and really proud of how they competed. Really felt that we competed for the first time all year for 4 quarters, and there is progress there and opportunities to move forward.
Well, and obviously we talked about it before. You had some younger guys and some key spots. We're in week 4, and how do you feel? Is the progress what you hoped it would be?
Oh my gosh, there is some good progress. Our quarterback play was really good last night. We caught some good balls, and unfortunately, our defensive line just is not willing to stand up to a big physical line like we faced the last 2 weeks. And until we continue to understand, getting off the ball and staying low and taking on double teams, it's going to be tough for us on defense. So our young D linemen are still coming along, but otherwise, I feel pretty good with our trajectory.
Well, you haven't had any breaks in the schedule either. I mean, you look at the people you played, they're all having good years. I got to say Knox has got a good shot of being in Indianapolis in November. And, Fairfield is having a great year as well.
Yeah, Fairfield's a 2-point conversion for being undefeated. And, they're a 2-point conversion from being 2-2. That's the nature of this game. And, it never comes down to one play. There's a number of plays throughout the course of a game, and you like to look back and say, oh, it was the last play or the next to last play. But really, the game of football is played for 4 quarters for a reason, and you got to be able to bring it every play and not take plays off. And like I said, I felt like our kids made some real progress in that area last night, but still learning. Young team, still growing.
Talk a little bit about what you saw that you liked. What do you think you did best last night?
We sustained some drives on offense. We took the opening kickoff and strung together about a 12, 13 play drive, punched in the end zone. We were able to stop them on fourth down and then drove down the field and scored again. So we were up 14-0 in the first quarter, and then it just the game kind of settled in and it went back and forth, and they scored 3 in the second half, and we scored 2, and they converted a 2-point conversion, and we didn't, and that was the difference in the game. So I was proud of our offense for being able to have some, sustain some drives and also some big play capabilities. But we continue to have a mistake on special teams that just did us in. So it's the third time this year that I feel a special teams play has cost us the game.
I think that's especially among fans, underestimated how important special teams are, because, I've seen 2 or 3 games. I'm thinking back to Bremen and Triton. It was the punt team twice that was where all the points were. It was all on special teams. The special teams have such a huge impact on what goes on.
Yeah, they do, and we emphasize it. We hammer it with the kids, and just understanding that the importance of one play. More field position has changed on a special teams play than any other play in football. Just when you kick the ball, when you return the ball, and unfortunately, we missed a tackle on a kickoff return to open the second half, and they returned it for a touchdown. We gave them an easy one. Otherwise, I felt like we did a nice job, of controlling their offense. I mean, they're a very physical team, and we played much better than we did the week before. And our goal is always to be a better football team from week to week, and we made that stride this week. We are a better football team. The scoreboard just wasn't in our favor, but we played better football.
What are the coaching points going to be this week? I mean, I'm sure you got things. You mentioned the defensive line. I mean, what else is going to be on the checklist?
Yep, defensive line.
Okay.
We're not going to have success until we get better there. It's bottom line. So we might even hit the sled for 2 hours every day this week, as far as I'm concerned. Until we get off on the football, Rusty, it's going to be a frustrating season for us. And we got young men who are working, who are coming along, but just understanding the importance of gap control, understand the importance of taking on double teams, understand the importance of closing down. Understand the importance of keeping linebackers free. I mean, it's not really complicated, but we as coaches tend to make it more complicated. If you can get in the trenches and defend a line, just defend your gap, you can have success playing high school football.
Well, you got a team coming up next week that I would call a trap game. They don't have a win yet, but once again, it's high school football. Anything can happen. Have you had a chance at all to look at Hammond Central?
No, I haven't. I was focused on last night and things that we can do to get better. I mean, it's all about us right now. We're more concerned about how we can help these kids continue to improve as football players and have a great experience. There's a lot of emotion after last night's game from our kids. You can tell that it's important to them. We had a great atmosphere. Finally, we're at home, and like I said, just 1 or 2 plays away from getting that first victory.
Well, the good news is you're home again next week too, and like you said, it is a great atmosphere down there for a football game.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty. Appreciate that. And we take a lot of pride in creating school enthusiasm and energy, and our kids do a great job of supporting one another. And it's what it should be. It's what high school football should be. It should be a community event that the fans come out, the kids come out, support their buddies, and you see young men compete, and after a week of work is how do they showcase their talents on Friday.
Well, thanks as always for taking the time. I appreciate it. I know you got other things on the schedule that need to be taken care of. I'm glad that you spent some time with us on Saturday, and good luck to you. We'll talk to you again this week.
Oh, it's always a great way to start a Saturday. Thanks, Rusty, and talk to you soon.
Thank you. I know some people who wouldn't agree with you, but thank you very much. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Austin Foust, Culver Community head coach, right after this.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
And welcome back. Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. Austin Foust, the head coach of the Culver Community Cavaliers, joins us. Man, another loss this week, and that's got to hurt a little bit. But I've got to feel you made strides in a positive direction. You got 22 points on the board, and that's never easy.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good things we did. Probably more positives than negatives. Just obviously not enough to overcome the 30 points that we gave up. We played really well in the first half. I think we were down 6-0 going into the second quarter, and then we scored 22 points in the second. We had three touchdown passes from Jonas McEwen to his brother Caleb. And they were one of those where it wasn't. We had a long touchdown pass to from Jonas to Caleb, and then we came back and threw just a little hitch route, and Caleb kind of did his thing and took it 60 yards to the house. Had some good blocking from Jordan Green up there, and then I think midway or maybe a little bit less than halfway through the second, we threw our third touchdown pass. The only problem, we gave up a one-play touchdown, kind of similar to what you saw us, where we just were kind of a little tired, and they hit us outside and took a 60-some-yard run for a touchdown. So that was 22-14 at the half there. And we came out and the onside kicked, recovered it, ran a little reverse play, got a first down on that, but I got called back on a penalty. And then we a couple plays later, we had a little confusion on some pass routes. We ended up throwing an interception, and then kind of went on our heels a little bit after that offensively. We said too many turnovers in the second half, where we just, again, I think the biggest thing was that we just kind of wore down. Again, we're not playing a lot of bodies on varsity, so we can have a JV season just because we got a lot of good freshmen, but those freshmen are just your typical normal freshmen where they're not ready for a Friday night, and that's something that sadly. Years past, we've had to play freshmen that weren't ready for Friday night. So this is something, again, we're trying to make sure we do. And, Winnemac just kind of kept coming at us and just kind of wore us down in the second half.
Let's take a look at them, though, too, for a second. I mean, they came in 0-3, but those 0 were West Central, Frontier, and Pioneer, who – you got to believe all three of those are going to be in a sectional final, if not deeper in the tournament. They've had a rough route.
Yeah, they did. I said it all week long that they played a tough 3-game schedule, and I don't think any 1A coach would have asked to have their schedule. So, we kind of told our kids it's we can't look at the records and things. And again, we did some really good things. They just, again, got us on a couple things, and towards the end of the game, that fourth quarter, we had chances with the ball, but like I said, we just kind of wore down. They're big up front with their offensive defensive line, and they got good numbers too as well. I think they're over 40 guys when talking with Coach Burgess, and a lot of their linemen, there's about 1 or 2 that maybe play both ways line wise. The rest they kind of try to keep fresh, and I think that was a a big difference.
And Jonas, man, he throws 3 touchdown pass. He's just a really good, solid quarterback, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he did some really good things last night for us, and we hadn't shown it as much throughout the year so far, but we ran him a little more last night too as well, and that was something that Winamac had kind of seen. He's one of our better runners, just because how he runs with his pad level. He runs low to the ground. He is a guy that falls forward for yards and things, and I don't know what he had on the ground yet, but I'd say probably somewhere around 50 yards and things. He starts scrambling, moving around the pocket late in the game too as well. So, I mean, it was just one of those things that, you feel really good about having him as your quarterback, and because, he has the opportunity to flip the scoreboard pretty quickly. And last night too, that first half, Caleb definitely, I mean, he dominated that first half. I mean, maybe really even this quarter. Anything we kind of threw up to him, he was coming down with. He was getting extra yards after the catch, and then was able to convert 3 of those into touchdowns. We threw our first one on a little hitch and go. The way they're biting on Caleb, we threw a couple hitches and felt like the safety was biting, so we just gave him a little hitch and go. And he went right by the safety, and the safety was grabbing hold, had a fistful of jersey, holding back, and still made the catch and was able to break away for a touchdown. And they called pass interference, and one of those, obviously, you decline and take the touchdown. So we had a lot of good things. I think defensively, we had some guys that again continued to step up and things. I think Drake Zorich, every game just keeps getting better and keeps you keep seeing the growth with him. And he's a guy that's kind of he's the leader of our defense there and the voice of our defense. And I thought he played well. And again, up front, Theron Carrington, I thought played well, made it tough on them. And even the freshman Colton Falk, there's things you look out there and you got to remember with Colton, just because the plays he can make, that there's other times too he's just a freshman, which is what he has the ability to do and playing both ways for us. So again, there's a lot of positives. It's one of those that as a coach, it's tough to watch the film and go back, just because you see how close you are, and you see on a 100 and some play game that it's really 3 or 4 plays. If those 3 or 4 plays go this way, I mean, it's a different outcome. And but again, that's how football works. That's how life works. And we got to get back. I'm standing outside right now. It looks like the sun's going to come up, so it's going to be okay.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm a coach's kid, and I used to listen to people say, well, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Yeah, but it's not going to be as bright. It just isn't. I mean, but that's the mentality of people who are in the game, your players, your coaches. It means a lot to them, and if it doesn't, they probably ought to find something else to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100%. We put a lot of time and effort. The kids do, and the coaches do, and our coaching staff. I mean, in the locker room after the game, I mean, it was kind of sitting around pretty quiet for a little bit, kind of thing, and until somebody broke the awkward silence with a joke or whatever it is. But the biggest thing is myself and our staff, we just want it so bad for our kids. Because again, how much we got great kids, and the improvements and seeing what they've done and put in and things. You want them to have that success, and get those wins. And we've been the last couple of years, there's been games we've been really close. And again, that's kind of the frustration is always talking about being close, because we want our kids to experience that. And that's the thing that just you watch individual plays and things, and you get excited because all right, this kid 2 weeks ago wasn't doing that. How he's doing that.
Yeah.
And those are the things we got to keep remembering, and keep the kids remembering that too, and bringing them along. Obviously everybody wants, in this day and age, you want instant gratification really, really fast, because we're used to getting things really fast and whenever we need it. And with this, sometimes we it's going to take a little bit. And, we tell our guys and, told them last night, like, hey, we got better. I mean, there's things you're going to see that we had guys that were making plays and didn't do this a couple weeks ago. And we got this out of them, but we just got to keep playing, keep playing better every week. And, week 10, play our best football. And, you never know what your draw is going to be there when that time comes. So, I mean, that's what we, keep preaching to our kids.
And I think we even said it last week. I mean, nothing makes a coach happier than when he sees that kid who he knows has been in the weight room every day and he's been out at practice giving you everything he's got. When he finally has success, nothing makes a coach happier than to see that happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, that's, those are some of those things, of why you do it. I mean, there's things that even last night in the fourth quarter, and late in the fourth quarter, and we're trying to get off the field and things maybe weren't, looking at as good for us. But, we had a kid that made a play, and you're like, listen, last week he didn't make that play.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not what we wanted and things like that, but hey, he made that play. I mean, that's a good thing, so you work all week, you work a couple weeks and, hey, we got to really help you on doing this. And he finally does it. It's one of those things where it's okay. I know we're going to continue to keep getting better. And we got kids that are coachable and listen and want to get better. And again, we're seeing that. We just got to get more guys making plays at the same time and at the right time. And, I think we had some guys that did some things that, again, we've just kind of been preaching like, hey, we're able to make plays in practice. And the reason why we make plays in practice is because you have the confidence, you're going to do it. Now we just got to take that over to the Friday night.
I hate to be the one to tell you this. I'm sure you haven't looked at the rest of your schedule. But, it doesn't get easier as you go along. You got North Judson on the road next week, Caston on the road. Caston is always dangerous. Pioneer is Pioneer. North Miami is the real deal. I mean, you got some killer games coming up, and let's start with Judson. I mean, what do you – obviously, I know what you see in them. You're going to see the option. That's what they do.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see option. I think our kids we've gotten pretty well the option throughout the year. We saw some option in the summer. We saw it with North Miami and Manchester in our week 0 scrimmage. We thought we were going to get a little more option against West Central. We kind of said it last night, talking about Judson, that we've played the option okay. We actually wish West Central would have ran the option more. Counter is the one that kind of killed us against West Central. But obviously Judson's a program that's rolling. Their best player, their Division I player that's going to Ball State, sadly, has a torn ACL, so he's out. For them. But the good news for that kid is, from everything sounds like, Ball State's still going to honor their commitment. But they're kind of relatively young in some aspects of it. They got a really good sophomore class that are doing some things for them. The biggest thing, and I think the big difference that Judson has right now versus a lot of programs is those kids are just used to winning. When a Friday night comes and they walk on the field, they really don't know anything else but winning.
Yeah.
Again, they haven't experienced it. Their losses in the last 3-4 years have been state championship, semi-state kind of thing. So that's the big thing, right? The confidence, so that's the thing that we got to kind of break through with our kids on the mental side. We just got to keep getting better. And, again, let's go into Liberty Field and, hopefully we can improve on what we did last night and keep seeing that improvement and, let the chips fall where they go.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time on a Saturday morning. I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing, but thanks for talking to us, and good luck to you next week, and we'll catch up with you during the week.
All right, sounds good, Rusty. We appreciate everything. Thank you.
That is Austin Foust, head coach at Culver Community. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Adam Handley.
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational needs. When it comes to pontoons, Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki Jet Skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
And welcome back, Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Ooh, I guess I better move my microphone where it can let me be heard. Adam Handley joins me. Really good win last night. It was senior night, right?
Yes, it was senior night, and it's always good to be at home, obviously, but then honor our seniors is always a nice, fun night too.
And you put 44 on the board. I don't care who you play them. That's some offense.
Yeah, and honestly, the defense set us up for a lot of those points too, with some short fields. Obviously, we had a safety and things of that nature to help with the scoreboard. But yeah, it's always nice when your offense can just finish drives. And we don't have the final stats quite yet, but I don't think Ben threw the ball more than 6 or 7 times total for the night, which is great as well, because that means the run game's working.
Well, I have one of your coaches on your staff lives with me, and we talked about the game a little bit last night. I guess Finn had a nice night for you.
Finn did. He ran hard again. This is the second week in a row that he's just really ran the ball hard, and we blocked it well up front. I wouldn't say we blocked it great a lot of times, but Finn was able to make people miss just because he was running hard and running behind his pads and getting the extra yards, always falling forward, that kind of stuff. And when that's happening, those are extra 3 to 4 yards that are the difference between converting first downs or not.
Having a chance to have watched him over the years, and a lot of guys that played back in the day that are old guys like me. I mean, in the old days, the running game was, you're going to run a 40, so you're going to run through the 4-hole no matter what. Yep. You're going right there. No guesswork. Yep. Boom. He's got to read where the hole is when you hand him the football, and that takes some time. Watching him early, he struggled with that a little bit when he was a kid, but sure. I feel like he's really got the hang of reading his blockers.
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of the offense style we run, obviously, is zone. And, that pretty much says that the running back, as long as you stick to your reads, you can't be wrong. And the offensive lineman, same true. As long as you step to the right area and you're blocking the zone that the vicinity and the guy that's in your zone, then you can't be wrong either. You may get a stunt or something like that, but if we stay true to our steps, stunts and things like that don't really affect us. So, yes, Finn has definitely gotten better at it as the years have gone on, and we've been able to add some power and counter and stuff like that to our run game, which has obviously allowed him to get up there and as well. And we had him for 150 yards last night and 3 touchdowns. So that's a pretty good night on 26 carries.
Yeah, 26 carries, and that's a lot of carries in this day and age.
Yeah, and that's a workload. I mean, I think he had over 30 last week.
Yeah.
And then again, just after the end of the game, was kind of looking at us like, "Hey, coach, I need one." And Owen was able to go in and give him a couple plays off last night, and and just continue to continue to run the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say, that the 26, 30 carries, that's option football. I mean, that was back in the old days when you'd hand that guy the ball that many times. But Yeah, he has been a workhorse, but you knew you're going to need him. He was going to be that guy that you're going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what we didn't know was Ben, right? Ben's ability to run the ball. Like we knew what we had last year with Xander, right? And then we talked this off season in the summer and like what's Ben going to give us? And Ben had over 100 yards rushing last night with 2 touchdowns. Like that's always great to see. We had 2 guys over 200 yards or 2 guys over 100 yards rushing. And again, just was able to, nothing changed in our schemes. Like we were just able to run our base stuff and got the job done.
And I got to feel, if for no other reason, that's good to have that on film, because now people are going to have to game plan for that.
Sure. I mean, we knew Finn was going to run the ball hard for us this season. But, I think the fact that Ben is a weapon to run the ball, they're going to have to start accounting for some of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, we knew last year Xander was our featured back, you could say. But Finn had to carry the workload in some, and I think that's kind of the same situation we're in now. Like Finn you could be considered the feature back or the workhorse, but Ben's given us enough wrinkles and things like that he's definitely a weapon.
And you haven't even mentioned, I mean, Fernando can carry the ball. You got some wide receivers that are in that counter game. I don't know, a jet sweep kind of look that you do. They're threats to run the football.
Well, and you have to be able to stretch the field, right? Like everybody, feels like or hears, we're running down the middle, we're running up, A gap, blah blah blah, and it's like, no, we actually threw the ball outside. We tossed it a couple of times. We ran a jet sweep, and you have to do that to again just to threaten the outside and make your corners and your safeties make tackles and plays out in open space. So that's kind of the gist behind what the offensive staff has kind of put together.
We knew about your defense early. We saw them play a couple of times. Your offense seems to have really caught fire. I mean, I got to feel like your linemen are finally gelling as a unit, because I don't think people understand that either in today's game. That your offensive line has to play as one person. They got to. And you talked earlier, you're always talking about steps. Well, you got to step in the right direction. And, I feel like you guys up front must be really getting the hang of it.
Oh, last night when we watched part of the game, there was multiple times where there was just a wall of humans, just road grading people last night, and like all in unison, all working the same direction, all. I mean, just engaged with another human body, and just like you said, just road grading people, and that's what you love to see as a coach, and offensive staff was obviously super pleased with that. But trust me, there's some things we got to fix, no doubt. I mean, they got us on a couple things. We had a couple minus or loss of yard plays and things like that. But for the most part, we got the job done, and we were very pleased. And I think again, the missing piece was we had to move John Kleindenz to center. First 2 weeks we were kind of still trying to find our identity with the offensive line, and John came over to play against Ridge and played center for us, and he's not missed a snap yet. And there's been a lot of success the last 2 weeks. Moving the ball and running the ball.
He's still on the defensive line for you too, or have you cut back his snaps on the other side?
Yeah, we've cut back his snaps on defense, which is allowing some of we actually have 2 sophomores starting at D-line right now, which is they're doing all right. I think that they're continuing to get better. They're getting a lot more reps now because John's playing on the offense, and in a big situation, John has to go to play D-line or go play nose or something like that, then we will do that. But for the most part, he's been on the offensive side, the whole time.
Well, John's a broadcaster favorite here. Both me and Joe love that kid. So we loved him for a couple of years. And I think it comes down with him, what I like, it has nothing to do with his talent or how he plays football. His body language and the way he is, he's having a great time. He loves this game.
Yes, he is all in football all the time. Like it's impressive to watch. And there was one point he got into it with a little kid, and one of our coaches on our sideline kind of was like, "Hey, John, one of these," and he didn't even have to look to the sideline and know what was going on. He gave us a thumbs up and said, "I got you, coach." And I think that's just kind of John's mentality. Like he is going to do John things, and he is going to be, I think the funniest part is he kicked the kid and pancaked the kid a couple times, and then he picked the kid back up and said, "Hey, good job, but I'm going to do it again," or something like that,
exactly.
right? that's just his mentality, and that's what we love about him.
But see, you need guys like that because that enthusiasm rubs off on everybody else. And then you got a whole team of guys that are having fun out there, and that changes everything.
Oh, definitely. Him coming over to the offense, it completely changed the demeanor of our offensive line. And, I think for the most part, they've found their identity. Now, how do we sustain that, though, right? Don't be content with where we're at. I mean, heck, yeah, we ran the ball great last night. But, other teams are going to start seeing that. Other teams are going to start loading the box on us. How are we going to be able to, still execute what we want to do with 7, 8 guys in the box, and what's that going to look like moving forward?
Talk about your defense a little bit here too, because they've been right there for you all year. You're giving up about 20 points a game on the average, but that has been a bright spot since day one.
Yeah, and we've had to move people around, like we said. Like Josh had to come off the offense. Metzger's been hurt a little bit. Like we've had to have some guys in and out, on the defensive side of the ball. So it's not like truly been the 11 start of the season for us. So it's just kind of been that next man mentality to jump in and, be ready to play. And that's the best thing we've done so far is that the scheme from our freshman level all the way up here to the varsity is the same stuff. So if we needed to plug and play a kid and be able to do that, then we just do it. And I think that's been the greatest thing that has happened for us with the injuries and things like that. I mean, Gibbons was out last night, and Christian Cruz Muller, another sophomore, like, hey, coach, I can do it. I can step up and play that position for us. And like I said, did a good job.
And you love those guys too. That they want a chance. I don't care what you ask of me, coach. Put me wherever you want. I want to play, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where we're at. Like we don't have a million kids, but we've got kids that are familiar with what we're trying to do, and like I said, just ready to step in and make a snap whenever they need it.
I just think that's also an underplayed thing, especially among fans, is the fact that, at those lower levels, and I coached at lower levels, and my coach told me, your players better know what we're doing if I have to use them on whenever.
Yeah.
And that's their job. And if you've got that all the way down into your junior high, all the way through, it makes your job a lot easier.
Well, and then when they come in as 8th graders, as freshmen, if they're running our stuff, doing our things, then we've already got the base offense and defense installed, right? You don't have to go back to the groundwork and say, well, hey, this is how we line up. No, they should know that, right?
Yeah.
And when we're doing that, obviously that's when programs are having success across the board. And like I said, I think we're getting to that point, and if we're not, we're going to figure out a way to get there regardless. So.
Let's talk a little bit about your game coming up and your schedule coming up. I mean, once again, you're in the grind of the NLC, and I know I'm looking at Wawasee at 1-3, but I'm seeing the 1 as Jimtown. And I'm seeing they played Northwood and Warsaw in your conference schedule. So, and there's a rivalry thing with them anyway. You got to go over there and play them. And historically, Plymouth teams have not played particularly well at Wawasee. I mean, this is a big one Friday.
Oh yeah, and rumor is that I think there's homecoming for them too, which is the middle of the season. So this is where homecoming games start to happen. So we had homecoming at Ridge, and it was our senior night last week. We get homecoming at Wawasee, and then we get to come home and have our homecoming. So it's like I said, it's that time of year, and why not add a little bit of extra excitement to a game? I think that's fun. Let's have some fun. And I think that the NLC conference is tough, but I think there's a lot of moving parts in this conference right now. I mean, some of the scores we saw last night were kind of eye opening, and it's pretty much wide open. And I think if we continue to execute what we're supposed to execute and run the freaking ball like we are, like we might be in the mix again, which is fantastic. And that's all you can ask for with these kids. Is continue to compete every week. And continue to battle every week, and give yourself a chance at the end of the season to be in the contention for a conference or, even in sectionals and stuff like that. So we're just going to continue to take each week as it goes and continue to work hard.
Tell me a little bit about Wawasee. Are they still running the same option kind of attack they had?
Yep. They're going to be, everybody in a phone booth kind of stuff, and a couple tight ends, couple wings, your orbit motion, counter motion. So we saw a variation of that week 2 with Columbia City, and It's the same stuff we saw last year with them and Warsaw and Mishawaka. So it's nothing new, but they're in year 2 with Coach Thacker, so they're going to be better at it this year than they were last year. And just from the little bits of film we've seen so far, they are getting better at it. They're definitely more comfortable in that offense. And, especially like I said, they're 1-3 at homecoming. They're going to be ready to play.
Well, and I got to feel like maybe your schedule lines up pretty good. You get them, but then Warsaw runs that same offense, and then you skip a week, and then Mishawaka runs that same offense. Yep. It gives you a chance to prepare for that as you go through, because those are all key games.
Yeah, we'll see that offense 3 out of the next 4 weeks. So it's definitely, mental mindset of the defense is going to be, hey, they're going to want to run the ball. So if we're making them throw the ball, then we're having a great night.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. We don't have you again until Warsaw, so about a week. So you're going to have to go to Wawasee without us and get a win, so you can come back at 3-2, and we can jack up all the Warsaw rhetoric we want to talk about. It's going to be a battle.
Sounds good.
All right,
sounds good. I'm down with that.
All right, Adam Handley, head coach at Plymouth, and stay there. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And it is the Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. If you missed the scores, you're just coming back, just joining us. We'll have Jeff Kaiser coming up at 7 o'clock. We're going to talk to Will Hostrawser, the AD at LaVille, in just a moment. But to run down the scores again, if you missed them, it was Triton over South Central, 63-0 last night. Fairfield got by CMA. We heard Andy Dorrel earlier talk about that. A tough play, 2-point conversion. The difference there, 28-27. Fairfield over CMA. Plymouth just got done talking to Adam Handley, 44-7 winners over Goshen. They head to Wawasee next week. We'll talk to Ron Brown here in a little bit. 14-10 winner. Glenn over Jimtown last night. That is a huge win. That was at Jimtown, I believe. And last night, we're going to talk to Jeff Kaiser here in a minute, and also Justin Bogunia. What a game last night. Max 98.3's game of the week. Bremen defeated LaVille 7-6, and people who like old-time smash-mouth football would have had a blast at that one last night. What a game that was. And then Winnemac over Culver last night by a score of 30-22. Like I said, we're going to talk to Will Hostrawser here in just a second, so stay there. You're listening to the Saturday Morning Coaches. Oh, and don't forget, Jayden Overmyer from Triton is our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week. We'll talk to him a little bit later in the show, and we'll announce our winner for this week's award, Player of the Week. So don't go anywhere. Stay right there. It's the Saturday Morning Coaches Show.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
And Will Hostrawser, I wanted to call you the head coach at LaVille. It's been a couple of years. AD at LaVille, and I kind of enjoy these county games because it gives me a chance to get a hold of the ADs and talk about some of the other programs at the particular schools that are going on here in the fall. And I know you've got a couple of girls programs going really well. Your boys, you got a lot of stuff going on at LaVille.
Yeah, as an AD, you've got a lot of hats to wear, and you've got a lot of different places to be all at the same time, it seems like. So I guess we call that job security, right? We do, though. We've got some great kids, great coaches, and they get out on the field, court, whatever, just to compete and display their skills. And we're very fortunate for that. Both our boys and girls soccer programs are off to a solid start. And they're very competitive, and we're looking forward. I always try to tell my coaches to, have your teams ready to operate at peak performance during state tournament time. That's what our goal is. Every team's got a certain amount of potential, and we want to meet that potential and have the kids there at state tournament time. And a lot of our coaches do a really, really good job of that. I'm pretty proud of that for sure.
Both your soccer programs, this is something that I talked a little bit with Culver AD about last week, was the fact that you need 11 guys to play soccer. That's sure. You got 11. If you don't have 20, you're getting really thin. And then you also have boys football. Which, if you don't have 25 or 30 boys there, and in the school the size of LaVille, the fact that you've got so many guys going out, I think that says a lot about, the kids there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is the people that are heading up those programs. You got to make, in today's world, I think, in the words of Plymouth superintendent, I'll throw that out there, Nick Mayorder, a good friend, he said, make the big time where you're at. And that was kind of a profound statement. And we try to do that. And we want our coaches to really promote our kids, their efforts. And everybody has a role, and it has value on the team, no matter how big or small that is. And when teams are clicking and things are going well, kids are buying into their roles, and the coaches are doing a really good job with that. And we're very fortunate to have several programs that are operating in that direction. So I think our head coaches are really directing our kids and recruiting the kids that are within our system to stay out and stay involved. Because in today's world, we all know there's a lot of things pulling kids in different directions, and having this outlet for education-based sports is truly a special thing.
Yeah, and the same thing too with the girls' side of it. You got to have. Well, I'm thinking if you don't have 15, 20 volleyball players, you're getting thin. And then soccer, again, you need at least 11 girls to be on the field all the time. And
your volleyball team is having a solid season. Your girls' soccer team is having a really good season.
Yeah, they both are competing really good. And, that's one thing. The volleyball season is a long season.
Yeah.
You play a lot of contests, and once you get going, it's almost like you don't stop. You have a lot of game time is almost equal to practice time, if not a little bit more. And when you find things to correct, you've got to be extremely efficient in your practice preparation to keep the girls sharp. And soccer, they do a great job during the season. We're very blessed to have some really good coaches. However, I think one of their feathers in their hat is what they do in their off-season structure for our youth program. I think they do a really good job. All the young coaches developing these kids as they come up through the system, and they're ready to go when they hit high school. So we're good now, and I appreciate the competitiveness, but yet the willingness to continue to sharpen the edge, so to speak, and work. A lot of times when you experience success, kids can get caught up in that and all the social media posts and all that stuff and tend not to work as hard. Well, I think we have a culture that kind of alleviates that a little bit, where the kids constantly got to work to get better, and that's something that's special for sure.
You made a good point there too, because a lot of times a successful program or a year in a program that started 10 years before with the youth programs. Yeah. And I was out at football practice the other night. You had a whole backfield completely full of youth football players. I mean, that is where the groundwork is laid for what happens when you get to high school.
Totally agree. When I coached football here, I was lucky enough to experience some success, and a lot of the success goes to all those coaches that coach at that level. We had coaches clinics and those sorts of things to connect our program, and every piece was important and had a tremendous amount of value. And a lot of the coaches that are here model that. And that's, you can see those programs kind of rising. And that's something that's very, very important, especially in today's, day and age. And I really appreciate all the efforts, because a lot of times those youth coaches are there on a volunteer basis. And, sometimes it can be a thankless job. But without them, I tell you, the success at the upper level sure isn't possible.
I was going to say the other night, I kind of had this thought back. I mean, watching that going on with football there, at Argus, all the success they've had in soccer. Well, you want to know why? Go out to Argus on a Saturday afternoon and look at the 300 kids out there kicking a soccer ball around. I mean, it all starts at that age.
Yeah, it sure does. And I'm glad you brought that up, because in that community, we love to compete with those kind of programs too. They do it the right way. They play at a high level year in and year out. And when we're lucky enough to be on the right side of a contest against them, our kids feel like they accomplished something. And really, that's something to say for their program as well. All the small schools, Argus has always been a soccer, I guess you'd say powerhouse for the small school level. And they're kind of the measuring stick. And that's something that they can be proud of over there. And we certainly enjoy that competition with them, because it is always really, really good. And there's other schools in the area that are like that as well. Some of the conference rivalries that have developed here, obviously with Bremen and Glenn being 9 miles east or west, just depends on which way you want to turn. And, those are always really good, healthy, spirited competitions, no matter what the game is at hand. And that's kind of what makes it special.
Let's talk a little bit about this game tonight, too, because, we're at halftime, so some of it's been decided, but by the time we play this. But, I was thinking about this the other day. Last night I was at Bremen's practice, and Coach Huber was there. The tradition that I don't want to get on my soapbox, but I think that's something that this game, it's a throwback game, because that's something we've kind of lost in the what are you going to do for me sports era of being a part of something bigger than yourself that goes back, further back than yourself, and the importance of that in a community and amongst people. I love this game for that reason.
These are the ones, you remember certain games. These are the ones you always remember.
Yeah.
you talk about Coach Huber, a guy before that named Coach Bungie.
Yeah, I remember my father and him yelling at each other across the football field. Yeah, there's a lot of that there.
Yeah, and they're fantastic, and it's a good. We were actually just in an admin team meeting here this afternoon, right after lunch, and talking about how much we enjoy working with the administrators from Bremen, and even though the rivalries, run deep, it's for the right reasons and done the right way, and we really enjoy working with them. But yeah, this game is special. I'll date myself a little bit. When in my first class, when I started teaching at John Glenn way back in the day, Jeff Kaiser was in that class. He was on the team at Glenn when I was coaching, right? So, and then Justin Bogunia was my first head football coach hire in my career. And I remember when he came from Evansville, I told him, he was such a good football player. Evansville decided to shut down their football program after he left. It couldn't be matched. And so anyway, that's something. Both these guys are very special to me, and they mean the world to me because they both have a great talent for leading young men, and that's something that both schools are lucky to have. And there's been numerous names along the way. They don't call it the Long Green Line for nothing.
Right.
They've got a tremendous tradition over there. And that's something that we really would like to have over here at LaVille as well. So I think that's something that we really want to, just develop.
Yeah.
So,
well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you in a few hours because I'll be up there. You will be. I mean, I know you're AD. You're probably way too busy, but we'll bump into each other, I'm sure.
There's plenty of security around here, that's for sure. So I appreciate you covering the game for both our schools and our conference, and it's always a pleasure to have you guys with us. So thank you.
It's Will Hostrawser, the AD at LaVille. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Big coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Jeff Kaiser, head coach at LaVille, joins us here in this segment of the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. And man, I tell you, I know that maybe you don't feel exactly the same way I do today, but what a great game that was to watch. I mean, you guys, both of you, went at it. It was just a pleasure to watch.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was definitely a old school, hard-nosed battle in the trench game. If you were a neutral spectator, it's a style of game that maybe you haven't seen in a while. And, anytime LaVille and Bremen match up, it's a war, it's a tight game. And, we knew that going in, but, just disappointed in the outcome, that's for sure.
Talk about what you saw. I'm sure you took a look at film and have gone over a little bit of that. Probably not dissected it completely, but what did you see? Break that down for us.
Well, I mean, when you lose the turnover battle, you lose the battle in the trench on both sides of the ball, and then you lose a special teams battle. That phase of the game, you got to win. That's one that you need to focus on and execute, and whether it's field position or blocked extra point or whatnot. When you lose those three key components to a game, chances are, I don't care who you are and who you're playing and what level you're playing, you're going to lose a ball game. And hats off. I mean, Bremen came to play. There was no doubt I knew they would, and we just we were competitive. I mean, I'm not going to say our guys didn't fight and didn't battle and whatnot. I'd be lying to say that, but there just was a lack of consistency throughout the game.
You got some warriors on that team. You got some guys. I mean, it's something that both Joe and I commented on after the game was over. I mean, there wasn't a single guy that walked onto that field that left anything behind. It was all right out there.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. We're competitors. We're going to compete. We're going to battle. It's just when you lack the consistency, and then when you don't play assignment football, and get a little complacent at times. Good teams are going to capitalize on that, and that's what I feel. That's what I feel happened last night.
I was impressed with your quarterback. I think Braden looks like he's got. As this year goes on, he's going to be a factor in a lot of games, and especially some of the balls he was able the windows he was able to put a ball in, especially on a deep ball, was kind of amazing for a high school quarterback.
Yeah, I mean he's still developing. I mean that was his fourth game as a starter, so he's still learning some of the aspects and leading that offense a little bit. And yeah, we missed some opportunities. When he putting the ball into place and hitting receivers' hands, I gotta finish the play. He was able to get his legs going. We've talked a little bit about that. During coverage, don't force it. Use your legs. He's a great runner. He was, I think, our leading rusher last night. If not, he was very close. So he's a dual threat. There's just things that again, when our guys want to pick and choose plays that they want to execute and perform at, we're going to be in trouble because you can't control who's going to do that at what point. There was 3 or 4 drop balls that I know of right offhand that were crucial times, and the ball was right there. So there's things we got to shore up for sure.
Talk about what you saw that you liked. I mean, what did you do well, you think, last night?
Well, I mean, I think we guys were competitive and played with some emotion and that defensively, I felt like we played a pretty solid game. I mean, Bremen came in off a 400 rushing yard game, and I'm not sure what the final number was last night. I mean, they ran the ball obviously 90% of the time. And I felt like the grind and the guys in the box and playing for the most part, very competitive. I felt we tackled fairly well. You're getting in there with 5 or 6 guys with a running back in there with them. You're trying to figure out which legs are the ball carrier, right? And so, I'll never say, mostly I'm always proud of is when our guys compete and we battled. I mean, it was a war last night.
You talk about competing too, and I mean, Braden Foster had. You talk about a guy who left it all out there. Did he take more than 2 plays off? I mean, he's playing both sides of the ball. Linebacker, he's one of your tackles on offense. He's getting hit on every play, and it was one of those kind of games where they were not pleasant hits. I feel like he's one of those guys that if I'm playing with him, I'm looking at him saying, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's Braden. Foster is a tremendous football player. He's as old school as they get, Rusty. We talked about that preseason. He's just the guy that, you look at him and he's the butt kiss guy. And that poster they got out there and, just shows the grit. The kid, he's had some hamstring issues, unfortunately. He missed last week. We got him back this week, and, he only got off the field a couple plays. One, a couple he was cramping, and one we had, some miscommunication going on, so we pulled him out to talk to him a little bit, and short him up. But the guy ended up, I think, with like 24 tackles last night, and was just all over the place. He's definitely our leader of our team. Emotionally, I mean, he's physical. He's film study. I mean, he's a ball player. It's no secret. I mean, everybody that plays is going to have 76 circled. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it was a funny thing. I saw him out in pass coverage early, Hey, you don't see that number out there in pass coverage very often. 76 isn't usually covering anybody that's running on a pass pattern. He was out there downfield, and I know that caught Joe and I. Said, "Oh well, that's Foster. Yeah, I know what's going on there."
Yeah, and it's the thing. Like he's smart enough in film studies to where, sure, he's truly a D tackle is what he is.
Yeah.
And we've had to move him. We moved him last year, and but with him, his study and his field awareness, he can put himself in positions to make those plays right when he has to drop into coverage and whatnot. Just because he can anticipate, what's coming. He's definitely, like I said, he's fun to watch. I mean, I think Coach B and Coach Janet were talking to him after the game. Those guys both coached him. They know the style player he is, and I'm sure they had nothing but great things to say to him. Just the things we ask him to do continually, and like you said, he doesn't come off the field. That's a guy that comes Saturday morning, we could roll him in on a hospital bed because he's hurting, but he doesn't quit. He's gonna get back out this morning and just a class act kid. Not only that, but he's ranked number one in his class. So I mean, he's not only getting it done in the field, but he gets done in the classroom.
Those are the guys that you hook the cart to, because you can depend on him. If he's doing that well in class, he is going to be there when it's crunch time. Those are the guys you really love to have in your program.
Yeah, 100%, Rusty. And that's, when we had to move him last year, there was no hesitation. Like, this is where he's going to have to be. He's smart. He's field awareness. Needs to lead our defense. And, it's a shame, because, his sophomore year when he's playing D-line, I think he had like 19 tackles for loss that year. I mean, so, he's the old dog terminology, and I think that, there's going to be a program, in NIA D3 range that's probably going to snag him up, and he's going to have success beyond putting the LV helmet on.
And obviously, he's smart enough to realize he's going to get a good education out of playing football. That's a good combination there. He's impressive. He impressed us last year in the game you guys played against Judson. I know Joe, my partner, was like, "Man, that kid's a player," and he's a good one to have around as you go forward.
Yeah, and I hope guys, can watch our film and see how he plays, especially young kids, and see what it takes to be successful. And we need guys to rally around him. And we talk about the consistency, and he's probably one of our most consistent players. It's times he's gassed and takes that deep breath and keeps going. And so our focus is going to be getting guys to that level. And then playing as a unit. That's some things that are becoming a little concerning. But as a staff, we're going to continue, going down that path and keep working, and not necessarily work harder, just be efficient and get persistent in what we're doing, and continually send the message to these kids.
Let's talk about that moving forward. I mean, you've talked about consistency so far. I mean, what else is on that checklist? Because I'm sure there's some things that you just feel like you just got to get better at. And you got Tippecanoe Valley coming up. They're pretty darn good too. So, I mean, what is the focus this week going to be?
It's our run game, Rusty. Our run game is not there. And our style offense, like I said, Braden Schwitz, played his butt off last night. You witnessed it. You talked about him a little bit ago, and for him to be almost our leading rusher last night, and that's not what we scheme up. We had a couple design run plays for him, but the other ones he's scrambling. I feel like we have a really solid passing game, and we have a lot of weapons. But until we can, we talked about this a couple times now. It's a broken record, but we can't be one dimensional. And until we shore that up and get our line understanding that they got to move people up front, and they can't be one play here and there. They can't pick and choose, and then they got to play as a unit. It's going to be a concern and focus for sure. So it's no secret. we're going to attack our run game and get after it and dig into it and figure out the chemistry we need and move forward.
I'm sure you haven't had a chance to break them down completely. I had a chance to see Valley play earlier in the year. It almost seems like you're going to see a similar thing to what you saw last night. Their two losses are Knox and Hamilton Heights, and they bring the defense. You're going to have a tough night on offense getting anything done, and then they're just going to pound you. I mean, it's just going to be another. In my mind, it seems like it's going to be another night like last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's this conference, that's for sure. I mean, there's no team that's not going to be physical. There's no team that's not going to come at you. So that's the luxury of this conference you have, and you got to be prepared for it. It was a long night last night. Got to watch a lot of film, watch a lot of Valley, and there's a lot of things that are concerning. If we don't play assignment football, we're going to get in trouble real quick. Coach Mo down there, he's actually mixed the offense up a little more than what he has. We played him last year for the first time, but he's definitely throwing the ball more. Yeah. He's got multiple bodies involved in that offense. And then defensively, we've seen two extremes. We watched Knox film and, you're packing the box and flying around. And then Heritage Hills, they'll spread you out a little more. So, we got some good looks. Valley's a daggone good team. Those guys believe in what they're doing. We got travel on the road down there at Death Valley, and that's a tough place to win at. Focus for us is on us. We shore up a couple things, and we're not a bad team by no means. And that's the thing these kids got to understand that, loss is definitely disappointing, but there are positives, and doesn't mean we're bad because we lost our first conference game, right? It doesn't mean it's bad because we lost on a Friday night. What's bad is when you carry that over for continuous weeks and don't shore up and understand what we're doing wrong, or maybe we're doing right, but we're not doing it to the level we're capable of doing. That's the biggest concerns that we have. And so, sure. I mean, we got Valley. It doesn't get any easier. Yeah. And if we just focus on those opponents instead of us, Friday nights will come too fast, and we're going to have the same results, right? So we got to work on us and take the best product we can on every Friday night and be confident in what we do and just be consistent.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time as always, and good luck to you next week. We'll get in touch this week.
Thanks, Rusty. Appreciate it.
That is Jeff Kaiser, the head coach at LaVille, and stay there. We'll be right back.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana. Serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Coach, how are you?
Culver's Portside Marina handles all water and recreational
man. Hang on,
needs.
we got
When it
about
comes
30
to pontoons,
seconds.
Godfrey leads the industry in performance and quality, and Portside Marina has them in stock. From Sanpan, Aqua Patio, Sweetwater, and Monaco pontoons, if you're looking for a family boat, Culver's Portside Marina can help. Discover the evolution of the wake boat through luxury models offered from Centurion and Supreme Surf Boats. Yamaha Wave Runners and Kawasaki jet skis are on the showroom floor waiting. Located at 514 West Mill Street in Culver. Stop in or call them at 574-842-5000. Culver's Portside Marina.
And we're back. Max 98.3's Saturday Coaches Show. Justin Bogunia joins me, the head coach at Bremen. Man, what a great win for you guys last night. That was just old school football at its finest.
Yeah, it was a hard-fought game. I kind of expected that, right? Both teams know each other well, and the kids played hard on both sides of the ball.
I admire what you do, man. You came out and it was obvious you knew what you wanted to get done, and you just kept doing it. I mean, until they stop you, don't stop doing it. And I really like what you guys look like 2 weeks away from what we saw at Triton.
Thanks. Yeah, it's just right. Like, I guess the kids believing in what you're doing. I'm like I said, I'm trying to establish identity on offense and getting the kids to get into those drives that are hard. The hard fought yards, I guess I'm trying to say, and then the execution. The other stuff takes a little bit longer to get going. So let's get good at what we can do, really, right?
Exactly. And in that second half, what did they have? 2 possessions, maybe 3? I mean, you just took over and ran the clock and said, come and get us if you're going to get us, but we're just going to do this. And to me, that was a game right there.
Yeah, and that's part of the game plan. Really, was keeping the ball, and limiting their possessions. They do a nice job with spreading you out, running multiple formations, and have some guys that can have some explosive plays right out there. They took some deep shots and were like fingertips away from a couple of those balls. So we were trying to control the ball, and I didn't see time of possession last night, but I'm pretty sure that it was fairly lopsided, and the defense played into that as well, right? I think we had 3 turnovers.
Talk a little bit about your defense, because I mean, the 2 times I've seen you play, man, your defense is lights out.
Yeah, and I think we had a good push up front with the defensive line. Frederickson anchors that, and then Jack in the secondary, his leadership back there. He had, I think, 2 interceptions last night. And I know we had a fumble recovery. I can't remember who got the fumble, but just having his leadership out there, I guess it kind of shows our seniors with experience. We got Parrish and Jack in the secondary. You got Freddie and Louie on the defensive line. So I guess it just makes sense that those are some of our strong points on the defensive side.
Even those early, I thought a real turning point was that first possession when they're driving down the field. They're looking like they're able to do whatever they want to do. And then I think it was Wildauer made a play in the end zone, intercepts the ball. I mean, that kind of was a big play. It's really early, but, it kind of set a tone for the way the rest of the night was going to go.
Yeah, like I said, you look for that, those big plays from those guys that have been there, and Jack's definitely one of those guys. And he jumped that ball and got that on the 1 yard line right there, that interception. It did kind of turn the tide a little bit, right? And then we kind of got it out of the danger zone there a little bit, and then punted the ball back to them, and the defense, was back on the field. But yeah, we talk a lot about that, right? When the chips are down or your backs are against the wall, keep your heads up, keep fighting, and they definitely did that last night.
Offensively, it seems like you found an identity, hat on hat, and we're coming at you. And But even that, our play of the game last night was the play where, well, Jack takes a snap and just takes off on a boot off on the left side and gets that first down that kind of ices it. I mean, that you can't just sit there and do that. You still have to honor your guys on the edge because you got some guys that can play out there too.
Right, and then that's the evolution of the offense is then being able to counter off of the heavy sets, right? The unbalances, whether it's the unbalance with the receivers or the unbalance with the line, and then being able to execute some of those play action passes or giving the outside guys the opportunity to make a play as well. I thought another big one was Parrish on the wheel route.
Yeah.
Outside, I think that was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, kept that drive going. And Jack made give him credit as well. He missed it early on in the game and we came back to it and he converted that 3rd down and that was huge for us.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at him play. He impresses me every time because he's just a warrior, man. He's out there. What do you need me to do tonight? And that's the kind of player he is for you, I feel like.
Yeah, he's gritty and you wouldn't expect it, but he's really a quiet guy. Other than calling the plays or the formations out there on the defense, he doesn't say much, and so he's just kind of one of those quiet leaders that lead by example. And I think the kids feed off of that. What you were saying, right? You've seen him out there take hard hits and get right back up. I think the Triton game, he was knocked out a couple times with some big hits, bleeding, and then came to the sidelines, got done what he needed to get done, and was in the next play or the next 2 plays. So I really like that. That toughness about him. As a quarterback or a safety, you don't necessarily get that, but Jack definitely brings that to our team.
It's funny because I've coached a few of those guys too. You got to get a pulse on them to find out if they're alive on the sideline, but when they get out on the field, it's a different animal.
Yeah, he's definitely a competitor, that's for sure.
Talk about what you saw that you feel like you got to get better at. I mean, obviously you've got Jimtown coming up, and I know that game, Bremen and Jimtown, for as long as I can remember, has been the game. Glenn coming up, another kind of rivalry game there. I mean, Knox later on to begin with. You got a real string of games here that are really killers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like as we get into the season, deeper into the schedule, it just keeps getting harder and harder and harder. So I think a little bit for me on the offensive side, it's just the evolution of the offense and being able to throw multiple sets out there and execute some of the passing game, right? That would be the next step for us. And then when those other teams load up in the box, how can we take advantage of that? How can we counterpunch that with a play action pass or some kind of shift into a different formation, and then to keep the defense on their toes. Now, sometimes that's part of the thing I'm trying to establish here is we're going to do what we do, right? And we're going to be really good at it.
Yeah.
And so if sometimes we're not going to care if you throw 8 or 9 guys in the box, we're still going to run the ball.
And that's how you establish an identity. I got to agree with you. And you look more comfortable with it than we saw 2 weeks ago. It seems to me like your guys are getting it.
Yeah, I felt that in the last 2 weeks and last night especially. That was a really good football team we played.
Yeah,
and to go in there and be able to control the football and get first downs and convert. I think a little bit. Last week built a little bit of confidence. You just kind of see it growing within the kids, and you could talk all you want, but till you go out there and you execute it and perform it right, then the kids start believing. As a coach, to see it executed on the football field, it just builds confidence in the kids.
I got to feel like you feel more comfortable with the fact that, I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Even if you're not having a good night offensively, your defense is going to give you a chance to win every game you play, and that gives you some some wiggle room on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, it sure does. And three solid weeks from the defense. Last night was the third game in a row where really, other than one touchdown that they gave up on the Triton game after a block punt, like I said, almost shutouts in three games in a row. So they've really been something that we can count on, and have really been tough to get yards on or tough to get scores on. So last night they bent a little bit but didn't break. The old bend but don't break defense came out and they got turnovers, and that's really good to see as a coach.
Jimtown coming up, and like I said, I've been here a long time, and ever since I've been here, it was the Bill Sharp against Coach Huber and all that kind of stuff that went on, and that game was the highlight of both teams' schedules, and they're going to be coming to your place next week. I'm sure you haven't broken them down completely, but, I mean, it's Jimtown. What do you see when you watch them?
Yeah, I see a little bit of old Jimtown and a little bit of new Jimtown. Really, I'll be like, oh, yeah, there it is. There's the T formation, the full house backfield, and then double tights, and then they'll spread you out and go shotgun some too as well, which Bill Sharp never did. So, that's a new twist. I feel like this week though, right? Like LaVille did some of that. They get up in a definitely hard running formation, and then boom, they jump out into a spread. Or so I think the formation wise and the recognition, I think our kids will be ready for that. Now it's the toughness and the when they're definitely 80-90% run in that formation coming at you, getting the defense coming downhill and attacking it.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time again. Good win last night. Congratulations on that, and we'll get back in touch this week.
All right, thank you.
It's Justin Bogunia, head coach at Bremen. And don't go anywhere. We got Andy Barker coming up, so we'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927. Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
And we're back. Andy Barker joins us, head coach at Triton. 63 points, man. That you got to feel good today, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, as the offensive coordinator, that's what you're looking for. Hats off to South Central, man. The program's struggling a little bit, and it's tough for them. And so, yeah, our boys though came out and played well, and that's really what the focus was this week. It's like, look, similar to Culver in that this is about us. This is about our process and learning as we move into the latter part of the season and eventually getting ready for the playoffs. What's our identity and how high is the ceiling for us is what we're looking for.
Okay, the two times we saw you two weeks in a row, and I felt like the difference between Bremen and Culver was the amount of comfort that your guys had with what was going on, and obviously that got better last night. I got to feel like you feel you're moving in the right direction so far as they're understanding what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ebbs and flows, and we found our identity in the run, obviously, especially on the read option type stuff. But I needed to get the pass added back in to our weapons, because we do have some really good weapons out there, and so I needed to build some confidence with Gage and his ability to throw the ball. And so that's kind of what you saw last night. We established the run, and then once we were able to do that, it was like, okay, let's touch in the passing game. And I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but I know we were over 500 yards and 200 and some of that were passing. And so that was a really good stat to hit for us.
I was going to say, Gage, I thought he developed as a runner between those two games. And you began to realize, and at Bremen especially, you could see at the end of that game, he wanted the ball. I mean, it was like, we're going to win this because I'm going to do this. And guys can get into that rhythm, especially in that quarterback spot where, they just feel it. And it's like, put the ball in my hands and we'll get it done. And I have to feel like you're pretty happy with that. That's got to be continue to keep growing.
Yeah, I mean, he's bringing that defensive mentality to the offensive side. And when you do that, that's dangerous. And he can be violent when he runs the ball. And, the kid looks for contact. He doesn't shy away from it. And I love it because, there's a throwback. And
yeah,
I'll give you a throwback name since we're both Plymouth guys. I mean, it's a Matt Kramer.
Oh,
even wears God. Number 10. I mean, Matt Kramer type dude. Where not quite the frame, but, I mean, he has no problem coming downhill and punching you in the mouth. And it's beautiful.
Actually, if you're comparing to Kramer, I got to believe that he actually looks for that contact. He's not really interested in doing anything other than making contact.
Yeah, it truly is that way. And you see it on the defensive side. I mean, I got home and watched some of the film last night, and he sits back there in that safety position. And buddy, you come across the middle, you're going to get hit. And it even started to show, on the defensive side that they kept slanting that number 4. And Gage was right there to tag him. And by the end of the game, he didn't want to come across the middle anymore.
Let's talk about your defense a little bit because, I know everybody's going to see 63 points. Wow. 4 games in, you're averaging giving up 9 points a game. Your defense is playing right now at another level.
Yeah. After LaVille, and again, we gave them at least 14 of their 28 points, but defense had been an emphasis to begin with. And I told the group, when I took over, yes, I get it. I'm an offensive guy, but defense is what's going to win us championships. And especially coming into the second half of the season, like we have to stop the ball. And it's such an old adage, if they can't score, they can't win, but it's super accurate. So yeah, we spent a lot of time just working on the fundamentals of defense.
And you got some guys that can play. And I think the thing, and we talk about this all the time with you guys, but it's true. You got linemen that can run. You got linebackers that can run. Everybody on that defensive side of the ball can run. And speed is what makes a great defense these days.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, you work with the pieces that you have. If I had giants all over the field, well, then maybe we would be running something that looks a little bit different than what we're running. But, there's always an abundance of speed over here at Triton. And so, which is great because that's what I love. And with that, then we use those because that's our weapons. And yeah, it's our pieces have finally found their place on the battlefield. And now it's just about learning that position so that you don't have to think about it. I talk to the boys about being unconsciously competent, where you don't have to think about it. You're just doing it because you've just locked it in that many times.
Well, even your giant can run. I mean, Shoe at 3:15, he's faster than I was when I was in high school. So yeah, even your big guys can run.
Yeah, he keeps trying to talk me into getting him the ball. I don't know. Well, to be determined, I guess.
Yeah, you could dial up that Mike Ditka and the fridge thing going on with him, but yeah, he can run.
Yep, that conversation has been had, so we'll see.
He started sending you film clips of the fridge running the football yet, or?
He hasn't. In fact, I don't know if he actually found out about William the Refrigerator Perry. He might actually start sending me that stuff.
I know I work with Joe McKee, and I have a feeling if he hears this, he's going to want to get in a Triton uniform and run the football too, because the old lineman, he wants to get the ball in his hands. So, yeah, but that's a good thing, and those are the kinds of things that that builds a team.
Oh yeah, I mean the camaraderie amongst the seniors on this particular squad. I haven't really seen that type of group since I played, and the class of '99 at Plymouth with Cheney and Grendel and Rewalt and Eddie Rodriguez and those guys. Like, we were really super tight as a group. And yeah, Matt Arvis and I were juniors in that group, but we were just locked in, and there was a lot of different personalities because you had a lot of different guys that came from different backgrounds. But when it came to being on the football field, it was special. And this group is setting up to be very like that group, and that's fun. It's fun to be around. It's fun to watch. It's exciting.
Let's talk about what you feel you did best last night. I mean, obviously, and I know this is weird to say, but when you have a 63-0 game, sometimes it's really kind of hard to assess what you actually did extremely well and what you didn't do very well. I mean, break that down for us.
Yeah, it'll be interesting once we get in here to film here in a minute. I think obviously establishing the run out of the gate offensively was a big deal, and I don't think on defense we let them convert a third down. So there's a number inside the numbers that's really important.
Yeah.
I think offensively just being more balanced was a really big deal for us, and then defensively, anytime you don't let them have any points, that's a good night.
Looking ahead, you don't have you got Judson coming up, you got Winnemac next week, and I know they're 1-3, but you look at the teams they played. I don't know if the teams they played have lost a game, the 3 losses. So, that coming up at home, it's good to have it at home, but talk a little bit about them as you look at them. I mean, you probably haven't had a chance to really break them down, but what do you see when you watch them?
Yeah, I other than watching last year's film on them, I haven't seen them too much. But with Winnemac, you're going to get bigger kids. You're going to get kids that like to hit, that have a little bit of edge to them. So it's managing that, and then again for us, it's taking that next step, because I told the guys last night, there's a storm coming.
Yeah,
and this back half of our season is really tough. I mean, we got 3 teams in the top 10 and 1A, all in our conference, which tells you how special the conference is.
Right.
But we're gearing up for this fight that's coming in this second half, and Winnemac is that next step. They're going to come in here, and I'm sure they're hungry for a win, and so. How are we going to respond to that? It's a big question.
I'm going to say, you look and do you worry about looking ahead? I mean, you got North Judson, obviously everybody, but you got 3 of the most. You're talking about legacy programs: North Judson, Pioneer, and North Miami. Those are all football schools, and they're all really good. And you got all 3 of them coming up here in the next 4 weeks. I mean, that's a gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean my mission, or what I talk with the staff on, is more just one game at a time, our process. Don't get me wrong, it's hard to not think about the gauntlet we're getting ready to go through.
Yeah.
But as long as our boys are improving week to week, each challenge is another step in the right direction. And so, we're going to watch film here on South Central, and we'll put that to bed and start on Winnemac.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. Good win last night, and we're going to be at your game Friday. That's our game of the week, is Triton and Winnemac. So I guess I'll probably be showing my fat rear end at your practice at some point this week. So We'll talk to you
You're more than
soon.
welcome anytime, bud.
All right, man.
All right. Thank you very much.
That is Andy Barker, the head football coach at Triton. So stay there. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
And we're back, Max 98.3, and our Saturday Coaches Show. Ron Brown joins us. Man, you got to be really happy. That's a big win last night at Jimtown.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always, good when you go in and you execute a game plan and the kids perform well. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Just looking at numbers, and I wasn't at the game, but they ran almost twice as many plays as you guys did. You got to be really happy with your defense's ability to just stop, bend but don't break.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Bendy put together a great defensive plan earlier in the week. The kids were able to understand it and execute it, and that's what it really comes down to. We're not playing Pop Warner football where you get to stand behind the kids and tell them exactly what to do. They have to study it, they have to understand it, they have to remember it, and then they have to execute it. And they have to execute it for 4 quarters, and that's probably the thing that I'm most pleased with is we finally played 4 full quarters, and our kids had no quit in them, and so that's the biggest step that we took, and I'm impressed with that.
And you got the win in the fourth quarter. I mean, you scored there and put yourself ahead, and and once again, we've talked about it before. That's all you ask as a coach: give us a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter, and you guys did just that.
Absolutely, we were pleased by that. It turns out that Jimtown was who we thought they were.
Yeah, you're right there. And, the other part of this, too, is even though they ran almost twice as many plays, offensive yardage was almost identical. Actually, you outgained them by a couple of yards, by at least 20 or 30 yards. I mean, that's a good thing, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Vincent and I, got together and we planned that one. That's pretty close like that.
That equal thing with your offense and defense, I mean, how do you feel about both sides of the ball? Are they where you want them to be?
I don't think any coach would say that their offense or defense is where they want them to be. At this time of the season, we still have a lot of fine tuning to be, and we don't want to play our best football now. We want to play it towards the end of the year. And so, for people who are coaching and understand football or understand sports in general, they know that it's a whole process of cleaning things up and getting as efficient as possible, as the season goes on. And, there's still a lot of things that we're going to be able to talk to the kids about. If not, we wouldn't be in Saturday morning waiting to, fine tune things. We would be able to get, still sleeping here. That would have been nice. But, that's not the case. So, there are a lot of things that we want to clean up, and it's little things, and it's going to be little things over and over again. And you listen to the best, programs around the state, around this area, and they're going to talk about doing the little things, and the little things absolutely will kill you every single time. And that goes from, the kids and the coaches, and, we can continue to get more efficient and more effective. And that's what we're going to look to do moving forward here.
You also, you talk about efficiency, but on both sides of your offense, I mean, you had almost equal passing and rushing yards. And, that's something every coach strives for as well in a game. We're even passing. You can't defend one without the other one hurting you. And do you feel like you're getting to that point where, you feel good about both aspects of the offense?
Well, yeah, that we feel pretty good. Archer's doing a good job of reading the field and checking in and out of multiple plays. It's really tough when you give a sophomore kid, 5 different play options that he can call out on the field. and he just goes ahead and does that.
You know, that has got to be a huge thing off your mind to know he's going to make a good decision.
Absolutely. The kids in here all the time looking at, plays and that. He likes to tweak things. He's got a good relationship with, his receivers. I mean, talk about someone bringing someone along. He's done, wonders with Braden Benwell there, really kind of tutoring him up and letting him know, where he needs to go and what he needs to do. So, that's just really great to see.
Well, you and he both continue to spread the ball around too. I mean, you had, I'm looking at 4 guys at least with multiple touches on the rushing game. He's throwing the ball to about 4 or 5 different receivers. You got a lot of guys that are making contributions.
Yeah, we had Aaron Turner's make a real big catch. Anthony McWigan made a big catch. And then, Braden Benwell at the end of the game, to be so smart to, instead of scoring the touchdown, just, dropping down at like the 5-yard line so that the game is over, what a heads up play. Most kids would have, wanted to get in that end zone and score that. But then, he came off the field and he was like, Coach, if we do this eliminates all those kickoffs and all those, balls being chucked up in the air. So, great for him knowing exactly what was going on.
Well, great for him, too, to come off and sell it to you, too. That's the other part of it. He's smart enough to, Coach, this is a great move. We did the right thing.
Absolutely.
And that has to bode well as you go down the line. I mean, you're hitting everybody seems to be hitting a gauntlet in their conference schedules here. To have that many weapons and guys that are willing to do something like drop down instead of take that score, that really speaks well to what's going to happen as you go down the road, down the end of the schedule here.
Yeah, I tell our kids you have the possibility to do something special and get your paycheck every single week. And, you put in all the work throughout the week. You battle through the bumps and bruises. The kids are in here taking ice baths already this morning because, they want to be as healthy as they can so they can dish out, some punishment and that. And so that's what it's about. It's about playing hard and it's about executing for your team, your classmates, and your community. And we really wanted to do something to show that we are playing good football. And we talked all week to our kids about playing good quality teams. We played Fairfield. They're a good quality team. And then we played Rensselaer Central, and, they're a good team. And who knows what the outcome is if we don't play Rensselaer Central the week before and be put in all those, tough situations and have to battle and then get pressed. And so when you're able to, grow from each game that you play and not feel bad about yourself because you maybe didn't get the outcome that you want, it's going to set you up to be more successful as the season goes on.
You kind of answered my next question. I was going to say we talked about the gauntlet of your schedule coming up, but you kind of had one before, and I'm getting the impression you feel that non-conference schedule has really prepared you for what's coming up.
I mean, I think every game prepares you, and that it comes down to this: you don't want to play to the level of your competition because sometimes you're playing teams that aren't as good as you, and so you need to try to run perfect plays. You need to try to execute what you're going to do, and you got to make it about you and not the other opponent, because when you come up against a really good team, what's going to happen? Are you going to fold because they're that much better than you, or are you going to rise to the occasion? And so I hope that the kids rise to the occasion. And we have a plethora of teams that are very, very good for the rest of the season. I guess we're coming in next week against the kid who's possibly going to be the nation or the state's leading rusher. And, he carried the ball 50 times. And so you got to prepare for that, and you got to prepare for what they're going to do. It's unorthodox, and it's coming straight at you, and it's violent, and you gotta do what you got to do. And so I would hope that we would rise to that occasion. And that'll set you up for what it's going to be for the rest of the year, because we'll see these teams again in sectionals. So you're either going to get better or you're going to get worse, and we're looking to get better every week.
Talk about your coaching points this week. I mean, you said it's about us. What does us have to do to be better and be where you want them to be?
Well, I mean, in order for us to be successful, we have to be able to, again, be violent on the field and be able to, match their intensity and be able to hit and tackle harder than the team that we're playing and try to go blow for blow with them because they will score, they will get their touches, and so we have to be able to answer back and forth. And I would think that, this week we're going to look to, shore up some things on our special teams and make sure that we execute in that phase because every single possession, every single phase is important. And we give our kids an opportunity. We give multiple kids opportunities to get involved. And so it's up to them to take advantage of, their position when they get put in there or, other kids step up and take that playing time.
Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time. I know that you got guys taking ice baths and you got film to watch here this morning, so I'll let you get to that. And thanks for taking the time, and we'll catch up with you again later in the week.
All right, thanks so much.
That is the head coach at Glen, Ron Brown, and stay there. We'll be right back.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And you're listening to Max 98.3's Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Let's take a look at our scores once again from football around the area last night. It was Triton over South Central, 63-0. Fairfield defeated CMA 28-27. Plymouth over Goshen, 44-7. Glen defeated Jimtown. Just talked to Ron Brown about that big win, 14-10 the score there. Bremen and LaVille, your Max 98.3 game of the week, 7-6 was the final in that one. And Winnemac defeated Culver 30-22. Coming up on Friday night, we're going to be back at Triton. They take on Winnemac. We'll have that game for you as our Max 98.3 game of the week. And we'll also catch up with all these same guys again on Thursday with Thursday Night Lights. 7 o'clock we start, and we go around the county, talk about the Friday night football matchups on that night. And in just a moment, we're going to talk with this week's Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week award was given to Jayden Overmyer, Triton, running back, and broke the school record a week ago, 236 yards and 3 touchdowns in a big win for them. We had a chance to catch up with him this week, and after that is done, we'll name this week's award winner of the Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week. So stay there. We will be right back with Jayden Overmyer.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
MCF got its start in 2018 with one goal: bring fast, reliable fiber internet to Marshall County. Today, we offer lightning fast speeds, equal upload and download with no contracts and no install fees. Whether you're working from home or streaming all night, Marshall County Fiber keeps you connected. We might be the new kid on the block, but we're growing fast, just like our internet. Visit marshallfiber.com or call 574-223-2191. MCF, making rural connections possible.
And Jayden Overmyer joins us, the winner of our Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week award. Man, I watched you the other night. I mean, you had a heck of a night at Culver.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk about that. I mean, the week before, talk about overall. It seems to me like you guys are really growing a lot more confident and comfortable with what's going on offensively.
Yeah, it started off a little rough week one. A lot of new positions, everyone learning, and we're slowly developing our line. They're getting comfortable, so it's really helping.
How has that process been? I mean, I know you got a couple of running backs that are playing line now, or used to be running backs that are playing line now. I mean, it's got to feel good to you to know there's guys who can get out in front of you and actually run with you to help you out when they're blocking.
Yeah, I mean, Vinny Prater was an amazing fullback for us. He always has been. He had to get moved. He's a big body, so that really helps. And knowing he's athletic and strong, and I'll just always follow him for every play.
Talk about that process, though, for the whole team. I mean, it seems like you guys are just a bunch of guys that you're willing to do whatever it takes to win a game.
Yeah, it all goes down to pretty much brotherhood. So we all do it for the person next to us. So we always go through and fight. So we have pretty much 10 out of the 11 people on the field are seniors. So we know it's our last shot. Every game's our last game. Is how we look at it.
I remember your sophomore year. And you coming on and I mean, it was like you came out of nowhere, but I got a feeling that wasn't out of nowhere. I mean, talk about the process for you. And obviously, you don't miss leg day. So, I mean, talk about that process because there's a lot of things that go on outside of just taking a handoff. I mean, the weight room, the whole thing. What is your process?
I mean, on a daily basis, it looks like I go to football practice, and then after because I do weights during school, I'll go after school and I'll lift on my own for about 2 hours and put in the work there, and then wake up in the morning, right back to it, same day, probably 6 days a week.
Yeah, it's obvious, man, that you put some time in, and was that a commitment you decided that I'm just going to do this, I'm going to make this happen?
Yeah, I mean, ever since sophomore year, it was looking at me. I was going to be JV, so I mean, I just started putting in the work a little bit freshman year, but I hit it hard sophomore year, and I waited for my opportunity. It came, and then I took advantage of it.
Talk about that process too. Is there a moment you thought, maybe this isn't all worth it, or has it always been, look, I'm going to grind it, I'm going to get it done?
Yeah, there's definitely been some rough patches, but I mean, I was ready for the moment. So it came, stood up, took it.
How do you feel about where you guys are at right now? I mean, you've got it's first-year quarterback, but it's hardly a first-year player.
Yeah.
And, you've got some really experienced guys around you. How do you feel about the way things are progressing here?
I feel good. I mean, Gage, he played against Bremen sophomore year and also junior year because Cole was out. So he has experience. And, I mean, everything's setting up. Our line's getting set. We're starting to look at – we got some threats outside for our wide receivers. We have Cam and Isaac. And then I know I have some good blockers. Our defense is looking really good. So – it's looking really good.
Let's talk about your defense a little bit. I mean, there's not too many times you see a running back play defensive end, but once again, your personnel, you guys look like you're on defense, especially, you're built for speed.
Yeah, me and Vinny are the ends. So, I mean, we just hope for our best with our athletic ability and our ability to get to the quarterback every play.
You got you got Brady Shue in the middle. I mean, it's as big as he is, man, he can still move.
Oh, yeah. Brady, he's a monster. I mean, You can definitely tell when he's on and off the line blocking for me.
He is a big young man, and I think
he just broke all the school records the other day for every lift available at Triton.
Well, but see, that tells you what you need to know about him. He's a big young man, but I just remember watching him run on with the flag. I mean, he's leading everybody out of the. The kid can run.
Yeah, he is quick. He's the quickest pound man I've seen run.
Talk about yourself here a little bit. I mean, you're a 3-sport athlete, right? You run track. You also play basketball.
Yep. And then,
I'm going to assume that football was your love.
Yeah. I mean, it was before I got hard in the football was whatever sport I'm in, I would love.
Yeah.
But slowly, it's just been hard football.
Talk about that at Triton. I mean, you got a lot of guys that do a lot of things, smaller school. I mean, is that kind of a mentality that, you go out, you got guys on the basketball team that are your buddies. You're going to be there for them. The track team, same thing. You're going to be there to help them out. I mean, is there that kind of camaraderie between fellow athletes?
Yeah. With us, like usually I have a group of people that I go through with track and basketball and football. So we built so much together, and we know almost everything about each other. So it's really I enjoy playing all those sports with them.
What do you do outside of sports? I mean, do you have any hobbies or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, just the weight room.
That's kind of what I thought. I mean, you're one of those guys, man. You're focused.
Yep.
Talk about school a little bit. I mean, obviously, you got to make the grades to stay out on the field. I mean, what's your favorite class?
I'd say probably my schedule's not hard. I only have 4 periods with an internship, but out of those, I'd probably say art.
Oh,
I mean, it's
cool.
Pretty easy.
What about that? I mean, what is it? Just you got that creative side to you?
I guess you could say, but I mean that class I'm filled with 5 of my football buddies in there. So
okay.
A lot of talk.
There you go. You said you had an internship. Where's that at?
Right Way dealership in Warsaw.
Okay, talk about that a little bit. I mean, what are they? What do they do?
It's a used car dealership. So here I'll be working on cars and delivering cars and so on.
Kind of learning that business then.
Yep.
When you get out of school, I mean, what are you thinking about college? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, college is definitely an option. If I'm going to try to get a full ride for football. If that'll work, I'll definitely do that.
Any ideas of where you'd really like to go? Are you looking at any schools in particular?
No, not really in particular. Any school within a reasonable distance.
You would rather stay closer to home then?
If I had to, but if it's a good enough school, I would definitely leave.
I got a feeling you'd probably stay closer to home because you got your buddies, you got your family. I mean, are you that kind of guy? You just like your folks around you?
Yeah, I love being around family and friends.
Talk about your future. I mean, what do you see for yourself? What do you want to do when you finally are all done with it and you're out on the adult world? What do you want to do when you're adulting?
I mean, I'd probably look into trade school, probably electrician or plumbing or one of those.
That is a good route to go. My son did that, and he makes more money than me now. If that tells you. So that is not a bad idea. Any trade in particular? I mean, he's an electrician, but what would interest you?
I mean, I'm leaning towards electrician most likely.
Yeah, you guys work around that deadly stuff. I don't know. That's a little too much for me. Anyway, man, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations, and good luck the rest of the way. I'm sure we'll run across each other at least once or twice before the year's over.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Marshall County REMC, they are more than just your electric provider. They're your neighbors, your partners, and your connection to a brighter future. Since 1936, they have been powering homes, farms, and businesses with reliable service, innovative energy solutions, and a commitment to our community that never wavers. It's not just about keeping the lights on, it's about keeping our community strong. Marshall County REMC, powering progress, powering you. Learn more at marshallremc.com.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Big coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
And it's time for us to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week Award. We give that in honor of longtime Marshall County and Max 98.3 broadcaster. Died almost a little less than a year ago, or more than a year ago. Was long before his time, and the award is in honor to the legacy left behind of dedication to the craft, his unending work ethic. Nobody worked harder than Tony did. Devotion to the athletes and coaches in the area that, it's never going to be matched by anybody. And that's a legacy that we like to honor each week with the award. And we'll tell you who that is right after this message from our sponsor, Johnson Danielson.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And this week's winner of the Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week Award goes to Plymouth quarterback Ben Shively. He was 5 of 7 last night against Goshen for 66 yards and a touchdown. And he also ran the ball 13 times for 108 yards and 2 scores. So 3 touchdowns and a lot of offensive yardage there, almost 200 yards for Ben Shively in a performance last night in Plymouth's 44-7 win over Goshen. He's going to receive a certificate that has a history of the award. He'll get a T-shirt commemorating his achievement, and will also be a guest, hopefully, I'm sure he won't mind, on next week's Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Ben will be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award that comes up at the end of the year, at the end of the spring sports. And that brings a plaque and, even more important, a college scholarship. And that's compliments of Max 98.3 and Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. That's the Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home here in Plymouth. Well, how about a program note here real quick as we get ready to end the show. Coming up on Thursday, we will go around the county once again with the area coaches. We'll talk football. We'll get their matchups for the coming week and talk to them about basically a scouting report for that. And then also we will have our Friday night game. Friday night game of the week is going to be at Triton this week, and it's going to be Triton against Winnemac. Joe McKee will join me for that, and that's this week. Sports on Max 98.3. It's going to do it for this Saturday's Coaches Show. So, thanks for listening. Have yourselves a great weekend.